I quit sugar for 10 days. Here's what I didn't expect. I didn't think sugar was a big deal. I mean, we all eat it, right? A little in our coffee, some in our snacks, maybe a dessert after dinner. It's normal. It's part of life. But a few months ago, I realized something wasn't right. I was tired all the time, even after 8 hours of sleep. I had these strange energy crashes in the afternoon, like my body was begging for something. My mood, up and down like a roller coaster. And the cravings. Oh, the cravings, they were constant. Sweet, salty, junky. I started to wonder. What if it's the sugar? It scared me to admit that maybe I was addicted. Not in the obvious way. I wasn't drinking sodas all day or stuffing candy bars in my drawer. But sugar hides in everything. Bread, sauces, cereals, yogurt, even so-called healthy snacks. The more I looked, the more I saw it. And the more I realized how much I was consuming without thinking. So I made a decision. What would happen if I stopped eating sugar for just 10 days? Could I even do it? I wanted to find out, not just for my health, but to prove to myself that I could break free from something that had more control over me than I'd ever realized. And so I started. Day 1. No sugar. No added sweeteners. No artificial subs. No, just a bite. Just real food, fruits, vegetables, protein, whole grains. I didn't even allow honey or maple syrup. Cold turkey. And let me tell you, the first day was easy. Almost too easy. I was motivated, excited, felt proud. I cleaned out my kitchen, read every label like my life depended on it, and even made a sugar-free playlist for motivation. But on day 2, everything changed. That's when the withdrawal kicked in. I had this pounding headache. Dull at first, then sharper by the hour. I felt foggy, like I was moving through thick air. My thoughts were slower. I was irritable, snappy. I snapped at a friend for simply asking how I was. It was like my body was screaming, "Where's the fix?" And that's when I realized something I hadn't expected. Sugar had more control over me than I ever imagined. It wasn't just a taste. It was a comfort, a reward, a crutch. It was something I turned to when I was bored, lonely, tired, even when I was happy. Sugar was always there. In good moments, bad moments, all of them. It was the one constant. But now I had to face all of that, without it. Each day I wrote down how I felt. Not for a blog or a video or a goal. Just for me. I needed to see it, feel it, understand it. Day 3. Cried. For no reason. I sat on the floor and cried because I missed something I thought I didn't care about. That was the moment I realized this journey wasn't just physical. It was emotional. Deeply emotional. Day 4 brought dreams. No joke. Vivid dreams of donuts, ice cream, even candy I haven't eaten since childhood. I woke up sweating, embarrassed. Addicted much. But slowly, something started shifting. I noticed my mind was clearer in the mornings. My energy wasn't soaring, but it was stable. I wasn't crashing anymore. I didn't reach for snacks out of boredom. I started drinking more water without trying. My face looked a little less puffy in the mirror. Little things, but they mattered. And most of all, my emotions felt real. Less erratic. More grounded. I could sit in discomfort without needing to eat it away. That was something I hadn't felt in years. I wasn't just quitting sugar. I was reclaiming something I didn't know I had lost. I started to wonder, if this is what just a few days feels like, what would happen if I keep going? But I wasn't there yet. 10 days. That was the promise I made. And the journey was far from over. I wasn't ready for what happened next. By day 5, I started to feel like I was waking up from something. Not just literally, though I was definitely sleeping better, but mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. There was a stillness I hadn't felt in years. No jittery energy spikes. No crashes. Some. But let me be honest. It wasn't smooth sailing. Because somewhere between day 5 and 7, the real test showed up. I was invited to a birthday party. My cousin's. And of course there was cake. Frosted, beautiful, perfect. The room smelled like sugar and childhood. And everyone kept saying, "Come on, just a slice. It's a celebration." And for a second, I almost gave in. Because I didn't want to be that person. You know, the one who says no, who makes it awkward, who has to explain. I wanted to belong. I wanted to taste the nostalgia. I wanted to forget this challenge and just be normal for one moment. But I didn't. I smiled, sipped my water, and breathed through it. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Not because I needed the sugar, but because I realized how tied it was to emotion. Connection, culture, celebration. Saying no to cake felt like saying no to comfort, to joy, to being part of something. But I reminded myself, I wasn't saying no forever. I was saying yes to clarity, to truth, to knowing what life felt like without the filter of sugar. That moment taught me something I'll never forget. So much of what we eat isn't about hunger. It's about feeling something we think food will fix. Day 6, I had more energy than I'd had in weeks. I didn't need a nap. My digestion, smoother, no bloating. My skin started looking clearer. But the biggest surprise, my mind. I wasn't foggy anymore. Could focus. I finished a task and actually felt satisfied. Not restless, not craving the next hit of dopamine from a cookie or a scroll on my phone. It was like my brain was functioning on a cleaner frequency. And then came day 8, the day that broke me and made me. I had a terrible day. Nothing went right. Work stress, family stress, I was emotionally drained. In the past, I would have gone straight for sugar. Ice cream, cookies, anything. But now, I had no crutch. And that scared me. I sat on the floor of my room, back against the door, and felt everything. The stress, the sadness, the frustration. It was raw. It was uncomfortable. But it was real. And for the first time, I didn't numb it. I just let it be. And then something incredible happened. I got up, drank a glass of water, stepped outside, and walked. Just walked. I didn't need sugar to soothe me. I just needed space, to feel, to breathe, to come back to myself. It was in that moment I realized I wasn't just quitting sugar. I was learning how to feel. For so long, sugar had been the soft landing, the escape, quick fix. Now I was facing life on life's terms, with all its mess and magic. Day 9 felt peaceful. My body didn't ache for anything. My cravings were nearly gone. I looked in the mirror and saw eyes that were clearer, not just physically but emotionally. I saw someone who had made a promise to herself and kept it. And that, in itself, was healing. The mental shift was subtle but powerful. I no longer thought of food as a reward. I thought of clarity as the reward. Of being present. Of being in control. Not in a strict punishing way but in a gentle, aware kind of way. And by the time I reached day 10, I didn't feel like I was done. I felt like I was just beginning. Day 10 without sugar. The unexpected gift I found. Day 10. I woke up before my alarm. No brain fog, no heaviness in my body. I stretched, opened the window, and just stood there, taking in the morning. It was quiet, and for the first time in a long time, so was my mind. No cravings. No mental checklist of, what sweet thing can I have today? I wasn't thinking about food at all. I was just being. That morning I made a simple breakfast. Eggs, avocado, some fruit. And it tasted different. Not because the recipe changed, but because I had changed. My taste buds had reset. I could actually taste the natural sweetness in blueberries. I didn't need to add anything fake, artificial, or overly sweetened. Food tasted the way it was meant to. And somehow that made everything feel more real. And that was the biggest lesson of all. Removing sugar wasn't about restriction. It was about returning. Returning to clarity. To balance. To the version of myself I had slowly drifted away from without even realizing it. I'd spent years feeling like I was broken. Tired all the time, moody, scattered, constantly looking for comfort in snacks and sweets. But what if I was never broken? What if I was just overloaded? Overloaded with sugar, with stimulants, with quick hits of dopamine. And once I stepped away, I began to remember how good it feels to feel enough. This challenge wasn't easy. Pushed me, confronted me, exposed the habits I didn't want to admit I had. But it also gave me something more powerful than any dessert ever could. Self-trust. I learned that I can sit with discomfort, can say no. I can choose myself, even when it's hard, even when the cake is on the table and everyone else is diving in. And no, I'm not here to say I'll never eat sugar again. That's not the point. This wasn't about perfection. It was about awareness. Now, when I choose something sweet, it'll be a choice, not a compulsion, not a reaction, not a numbing mechanism. And that feels like freedom. So if you're watching this and wondering if it's worth it to try, even just for 10 days, my answer is yes. Not because it'll magically fix everything, but because it will show you things about yourself you didn't know you needed to see. You'll realize how strong you are, how much better your body can feel, how powerful your mind becomes when it's not battling cravings every few hours, how emotional freedom can come from something as simple as what you eat or don't eat. This wasn't just a food experiment. It was a mirror, and it showed me the version of myself that was always there, underneath the sugar, the stress, the cycles. A version that is calmer, lighter, more whole. So here's my invitation to you. Don't wait for a perfect time. Try it. In days. Just see what happens. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because the truth is, once you taste clarity, you'll never want to go back to the fog. And if you do try it, I'll be cheering for you. 'Cause if I could do this, anyone can. Just take the first step. And if this story moved you, helped you, or gave you something to think about, I hope you'll share it. Because someone out there is sitting in the same place I was. Tired, stuck, unsure what's wrong. And maybe this is the message they need to hear today. Yellow Heart, thank you for spending your time here. Means more than you know. If you felt connected to this journey, please subscribe to Golden Wellbeing. This is where we explore real change, raw stories, and what it truly means to live well, from the inside out. Sparkles, share this with someone you care about. Sparkles, hit the like button if you felt something today. Sparkles, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss the next experiment, the next breakthrough, the next honest moment. Because we're in this together. And healing, real healing, starts when we stop numbing and start listening. Here's to clarity. Here's to 10 days that changed everything. And maybe, just maybe, they'll change something for you too.